निहारने को दिल चाहता है, मन में उतारने को दिल चाहता है। तुम सामने हमारे, तुम साथ में हमारे, तुम सामने हमारे, तुम साथ में हमारे, वो भी पुकारने को दिल ये चाहता है, तुमको निहारने को दिल ये चाहता है, मन में उतारने को दिल ये चाहता है। ये ज्योति बिंदु प्यारा, क्या रूप है तुम्हारा, किरणों ने रूप है सवारा, रूप है सवारा, किस्मत सवारने को दिल ये चाहता है, मन में उतारने को दिल चाहता है। तुम सामने हमारे, तुम साथ में हमारे, वो भी पुकारने को दिल ये चाहता है, तुमको निहारने को।
Good morning and welcome back to Pavitrata series on purity. Today, the third episode. Let us start with a few words from the teachings of Raja Yoga. Teachings of Raja Yoga on the subject of purity. This is a teaching from 1987. The speciality of this age, this special age that we are living in right now, called the confluence age, is a symbol of purity, a crown of light, which every spiritual student receives from the Supreme Father, from God. This crown is a sign of great souls, fortunate godly souls, and the highest on high souls. So the crown of light is a speciality of this spiritual life, this godly student life. So have all of you become those who are wearing such a crown. God, the mother and the father, gives every child from the moment they take birth the blessing, may you be pure. If there is no purity, there is no spiritual life. From the beginning of establishment until now, there have been obstacles because of purity. Because the foundation of purity is a foundation of heaven. Achieving purity is the basis of you spiritual souls easily being taken into the flying stage. Just as the philosophy of karma is said to be very deep, so the definition of purity is extremely deep. Purity is a canopy of protection with which you can protect yourself from the many obstacles. Purity is said to be the mother of peace and happiness. Any type of impurity makes you experience sorrow and peacelessness. So, throughout the day, check. Do I experience any wave of sorrow or peacelessness at any time? the seed of that is impurity. Whether it is because of the main vices or because of a subtle form of the vice. A pure life means one in which there is no name or trace of sorrow or peacelessness. So any type of sorrow or peacelessness is a sign of impurity in our life. A pure life means one in which there is no name or trace of sorrow or peacelessness. If there is a slightest experience of sorrow due to any reason, it is because of a lack of complete purity. A pure life means a life of blessings received from God. So this is a foundation of our spiritual life, purity. Without purity, there is no spiritual life. Without purity, there is no breath of spiritual life. Someone may think that they are spiritual or they are connected to the soul or to God, but without purity, without celibacy, without chastity, there is no life, there is no happiness, there is no peace. And purity is the crown of light. And today we will look at the example of Adi Shankaracharya. Adi Shankaracharya has been a philosopher and a great sage of the 8th century in India. And he had a huge influence on studying the foundation scriptures of Hinduism. He explained the basis of Hinduism, and he was a great philosopher, a great sage, and at the same time one who made brahmacharya very firm in his life. Brahmacharya meaning celibacy or living a life in chastity. And Adi Shankaracharya was well known for his wisdom, and his love for brahmacharya started when he was 8 years old. He was the only son of his mother, and his mother very early in her life with a child wanted her child to have a married life. So she started to entertain the idea that he will get married. And this is a time when Adi Shankaracharya decided that he should be doing something about it. So very soon after that, he was in a river with his mother taking a bath, and the mother went out and he is still in the water. And he started to shout, "Mother, mother, my life is in danger. A crocodile is grabbing my feet and I will die. He will eat me." And the mother started to cry. And then Shankaracharya came with a thought. He said, "Mother, there is only one solution. Maybe if you give me now to the Lord, to God, maybe God will help me and I will escape from the crocodile." Of course, there was no crocodile, but mother didn't know. And mother immediately said, "Okay, I will surrender you to God." And that was a moment when Adi Shankaracharya was able to decide for his life. Once he was surrendered to God, he decided he will follow the path of being very firm in brahmacharya, in chastity, in celibacy. And some of his observations on this subject are lust, anger, greed, envy, pride. Practically all the vices are positively dreadful forms of action in the head, but they are seen. These are the real dangers for men. So all these vices are seen. Vice is more dangerous than poison. The latter, the poison, kills the eater, whereas the former kills him who simply looks at it. So bad vice is. So it is that through venom, through poison, someone will have to take it in, to eat it, to die. But through vice, through lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego, only by observing it, only by looking at it, the spirit is becoming dead. And he continues saying, the foolish man is the one that likes his body, and through there is a skin, flesh, fat, bones, and scum in it. The discriminating person considers his real divine self to be distinct from all of this. So he is making a very clear distinction between the body and the man who likes the body, the soul, or the one who believes that he is a body. And what is that body? It's just a combination of bones and fat and flesh and scum. And it's a big combination of mud. And the one who is spiritually awake will understand that the divine, real self is distinct from that body. So the real divine self cannot be associated with that body, cannot take pleasure from that body, from the senses of the body. And he continues, by pondering over sensual thoughts, one cannot meet the situation, which can be resolved only by being firmly grounded in one's own essential form, which is purity itself. So by pondering on sensual thoughts, one cannot resolve the situation. And that is a situation right now with all human beings. The more they entertain that sensual thoughts, the less they can meet the situation as it is. Any situation that arises from their own thoughts, from relationships, from interaction with the environment, or from the whole society, they cannot really meet the situation as it is, which can only be resolved, that situation can only be resolved only by being firmly grounded in one's own essential form, by being grounded in our form that is eternal, original, pure, the real divine self, which form is purity itself. So our real divine self is purity itself. Indulgence at one time gives rise to indulgence at later time, so that the feeling and the act relevant to it gives an impact to each other. So the more we are indulging in certain type of thoughts, the more they will come back to us. Hence, he who aspires for release from the world's ties has to erase from his mind all traces of vicious thoughts and the actions that are belonging to them. So the one who really wants to connect their mind with soul and with God have to erase all the traces of vicious thoughts, all the thoughts that are indulging in sensual pleasures, all the thoughts that are coming from that vices of lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego. Only when that type of thoughts are finished, only then the action will be finished and the sin will be finished. So let us see a few thoughts from the Bible. The Bible is also discussing on lust and what is the vision of Bible on this subject. From Peter, live no longer for the lust of human, but for the will of God. For the time already past is sufficient for you to have carried out the desires, having purged a curse of sensuality, lusts, carousing, drinking, and idolatries. So live no longer for the lust of human, but for the will of God. That is from Peter. From the Romans, those who are according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh, But those who are according to the Spirit are setting their mind according to the Spirit. So you cannot set the mind on both the flesh and the Spirit. For the mind set on the flesh is death, but the mind set on the Spirit is life and peace, because the mind set on the flesh is hostile towards God. Very clear, the Bible says the mind set on flesh is not only not knowing God, but is hostile towards God. For it does not subject itself for the law of God, for it is not even able to do so, and those who are in the flesh cannot please God. And further down from Romans, for if you are living according to the flesh, you must die. The spirit is dying, the soul is dying when it's trapped in all the sensual pleasures. But if by the Spirit you're putting to death the deeds of the body, you will live. It is very clear. When we live by the Spirit, we will acknowledge and we will accept and we will belong to that Spirit. And when the human beings are living by the flesh, by the law of sensual pleasures, of sensual desires, then there is a death of the spirit, there is a death of the soul. We fully understand this law. What is spirit cannot indulge in sensual pleasures, and what is flesh is meant to die. There is no immortality for the body, there is no life without death for the body, for the sense organs, for everything that is pleasure obtains with the body, there will be an end sooner or later. And that will also be a source of great sorrow or peacelessness, because everything is changing in this world. Everything that we experience with the sense organs, including the sensual pleasures, everything is meant to finish. And wherever there is the slightest impurity, there will be sorrow and peacelessness. Whilst on the other side, there is a life of the spirit that is awakened, that soul that is awakened, that soul is in a completely different reality. That soul has a peace and a love of living with God. That soul knows itself as being a being of light, a being that is eternal, a being of Anand, of bliss, of eternal happiness. This being is loved by the whole family of souls, is loved by God. It is divine, it is eternal, it is knowledgeable. Such a being can ever experience sorrow or peacelessness. So let us indulge in only one pleasure, and that is pure tea. If you would like to have a tea, have this tea, pure tea, purity. Purity will bring honesty, sincerity, divinity. All the types of tea we can experience here and we can have them. These are allowed to indulge into the eternal qualities of the soul. So let us have this pure tea every day, morning, lunchtime, and the evening. And let us remember the acronym for pure. Pure tea served at every moment of our spiritual life. P is coming from peace. It is only in brahmacharya, in celibacy, in chastity, that the mind can experience that peace, that silence, that contentment. And you, it's coming from union. It is only in the purity of the spirit, when we fully understand and concentrate our spirit on the soul matters, on God, that we can experience that union, the communion that has been desired by all saints and all spiritual, those who are making spiritual endeavor. That union, that communion can now be experienced. The intellect can be fully concentrated on God and on the soul. And then there is R from resolution. There is resolution of all the inner conflicts, of all the outer conflicts. There is resolution of all war and all the problems of this world in purity. When we understand that purity only starts with brahmacharya, a pure mind starts with understanding that we are not the flesh, we are not the body. We cannot indulge in the sensual pleasures of the body because we are that spirit. When the soul is awake to this reality, to this truth, then resolution of our inner conflicts starts immediately. You can start today by putting this into practice. Start today to see yourself as a soul. Start today to see yourself as that spirit. Spirit indulges only in eternal virtues of the soul. Purity, honesty, sincerity, divinity, all of that are our eternal right. As soon as you start to experience those and to make them your experience, your right, your possession, you will start to observe resolution of inner conflicts. Mind will start to become peaceful. Mind will start to become calm and content. There won't be any conflict in the mind. There won't be that feeling of guilt, of revenge, of shame, of blame. All of that will disappear from the first day. They will diminish. And then there is a journey, but the resolution starts. So purity, pure, means peace, means union with God, means resolution of everything that was negative in our minds, and eventually E from what we eat. Pure means eating only impressions that are positive, that are satvic, that are sattva-pradhan, that are clean and truthful. So we eat food that is pure and we return to this world that thoughts and good wishes and attitude that is pure. So we eat that impressions that are pure. We see what is pure, we hear what is pure, we touch what is pure, and we return back to the world that thoughts, words, attitude, and actions that are completely pure. So let us start today with this very beautiful treatment and diet of pure tea. Pure tea means peace, union with God, resolution of all the conflicts, and eating only that which is sattva-pradhan. Thank you. Let us finish with 1 minute of meditation.
संयोग गुजारनी हो दिल चाहता है तुमको निहारनी हो दिल चाहता है सर्वस्व धारनी हो दिल चाहता है तुमको निहारनी हो दिल चाहता है